Welcome to the Awakened Goddess Show, your source for inspiration, wisdom, and personal discovery. The place to learn from a diverse mix of mentors, metaphysical experts, spiritual leaders, and best-selling authors from around the world. I'm Angela Wilkinson, attraction coach and founder of The Goddess Next Door. Join me as I explore the minds of my masterful guests while they share powerful insights and easy-to-use tools you can start using right away. Now, let's tap into the energy of the Awakened Goddess and be enlightened by today's guest. Hey everyone, I'm your host, Angela Wilkinson, and welcome to this episode of the Awakened Goddess Show. During a long struggle with health-destroying conditions, today's guest learned to listen closely to her body. Instead of looking at food as an enemy, she learned to use food as a tool for self-love. Now, as the nationally acclaimed wellness expert, Lisa Consiglio Ryan has worked with thousands in her Renewal Detox program, and her work has been featured in Fitness Magazine, Chris Carr's Crazy Sexy Life, and Mind Body Green, to name just a few. Today, Lisa and I talk about our relationship with food, how stress and some foods cause inflammation in our bodies, and what that means to us. But before I talk with Lisa, do you desire a deeper understanding of your spirituality? How about the metaphysical world? And what about the laws of the universe? In the Spark Spiritual Academy, we explore metaphysical and lifestyle topics where we give you the keys in easy-to-use, bite-sized pieces to create the life you want. Spark Spiritual Academy offers a monthly collection of inspiring, thought-provoking information in one convenient place. Each month, you'll get a new collection of bonus material from the Awakened Goddess Show experts. You'll also get journal exercises, meditations, and resources to put into practice and create quantum leaps forward in your life. Join us today and ignite your brilliance within. See you there. Well, welcome, Lisa, to the Awakened Goddess Show. I am so excited to have you join me today to talk about juicy self-love. So welcome.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here with you.
Yay. So let's start with your story. I want to know what brought you into helping women start listening to their bodies in order to lose weight, feel amazing, and heal.
My food journey and all of that stuff kind of started when I was 8 years old, and I was getting ready for a dance recital. And it was in June, so it was really hot, and I just remember it was just, I had, pink tights on, and my tap shoes, and I had like this yellow cowgirl outfit on.
Yeah.
And I was getting my makeup, blue eyeshadow and red lipstick, and my hair was done, and I had a hat on, and I was just feeling pretty good. And I was posing for pictures in the backyard, and someone who I adore, who I love so much, had mentioned how I was getting fat.
Oh, goodness.
And how I was getting chunky, and I better watch it. So, of course, the whole thing of me feeling fabulous just went to crap with an instant. And I just remember I started to watch it, and that meant that I stopped eating. Mm-hmm. And so, it's so sad that I think back, but I just actually started to write down everything I ate. So I would only allow myself 5 pieces of food. It's one toast or 1 stick of gum or 1 French fry. Wow. It was very I had like a little notebook, and I would write it down every day. And then, I was a growing child, so I would totally fail and have, McDonald's or something at night, because my family did a lot of fast food at the time. Mm-hmm. And then I would vow, okay, go running tomorrow, or, start again tomorrow. And, okay, you could only have 3 things. That's it. You just did it again. You're just terrible. Mm-hmm. And so this went on for about 3 years. I remember in 6th grade still doing this. And so I was just I kind of thought food was an enemy the whole time and pretty evil. And needless to say, I just kind of did the back and forth with all the diets. And especially in my 20s, I just kind of did every, low carb diet, the no carb diet, the all carb diet, the low fat diet, the no fat diet. I did Atkins, and I did South Beach, actually. That was the one I stuck with for about 4 years. Mm-hmm. But I only did that only did stage 1. So I never had sugar, meaning no fruits. So I would never eat a banana. It was like totally evil. Yeah. Or strawberry, just because it was sugar. And so, needless to say, I got really, really sick. I had chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia, a lot of autoimmune things going on, cystitis, and where I kind of felt like I had to use the bathroom, but I never did. I never had to. It was just so, had lots of yeast and rosacea.
You had like the whole gamut.
And I wasn't even 30. I was like, what the heck is going on? And so, I just remember it was in April. I was on spring break because I was a former teacher and I taught, elementary school in my old life. And I had some time to myself. I just moved into my condo. I was feeling pretty down about myself, even though something good happened. But of course it was about food again. Mm-hmm. And I just remember going, okay, this has got to stop because I am not even 30 and I'm so sick. And that's when this whole evolution came about with where I am today. So I started to see an acupuncturist. I started taking herbs. I started doing, massage and chiropractic work. I did polarity. I saw a healer where she did energy work with me. And I kind of did like this holistic approach. And I started to feel much better about 9 months later. Mm-hmm. But I never did tackle the food thing.
Yeah.
And so I ended up resigning from my teaching career and going into nutrition because for some reason, I think it was inside of me the whole time, or I was really interested in food. And I knew that I had to make a change. Plus, I was the go-to person anyway. Mm-hmm. I don't know why. I was not healthy at all, but people would come to me and go, what are you eating for breakfast? I'm like, yeah. So, I was very getting mixed messages about, you look so fabulous. And I, wasn't even eating. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm getting these mixed messages here. Mm-hmm. And so I ended up going to the Institute of Integrative Nutrition to get certified in nutrition, meaning that I wanted to kind of help myself. I kind of wanted to learn how to cook. And, I never cooked ever. In fact, I kept my clothes, like winter sweaters in my oven for storage in my apartment because I didn't have any room. And I'm like, well, I don't use this oven, so I'll just use it as storage, which was really sad.
That's a New York thing, right?
It could be a New York thing. Maybe it is. I saw it on Sex and the City, I think. But my friends would be like, Lisa, that's a fictional character. It's like a real person that does this. And I'm like, oh, okay. But I learned how to really view food as love instead. And so that's where I am now. And I work with women on how to heal that relationship because we get so many mixed messages due to our society and things like that.
It sounds like you've come really full circle, and it's, we all have those things in our life that we struggle with, and it seems like that's what we end up feeling so passionate about, and we end up, learning and diving into it and expressing that through our work that we do as entrepreneurs. So your view of food has really shifted from one of really sounds like maybe some anger, resentment, like that bad thing that we have to have to deal with. And now you are in a place of love. So let's talk more about that.
Yeah. So when you mentioned that good and bad thing, I mean, I still hear that from a lot of women too. It makes me really sad, but we're naturally going, oh, I was bad today. I ate blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. Or is that bad? Or is that good? Mm-hmm. And it's really tapping into what works for your body. Because it's really hard to say, oh, I'm going to be vegan. And it just maybe doesn't work for you. Or, oh, I'm going to do paleo. Mm-hmm. And it worked for you. And so, it does break my heart about that good and bad thing. So, for your question, it's hard to kind of know what is your truth, or it's hard to know what is good for you when you're pretty much cluttered. And that means, in your cells, obviously with caffeine and sugar, and I could go on and on. We all kind of know about gluten and dairy and things like that. And over time, we become so acidic and inflamed. So either, that could lead to chronic disease, or it could lead to certain things that also, like depression, especially with our minds, because our brains want to take over and be in charge.
Well, and things really just taste so good, too. I mean, the chemicals that they pump in all those, processed foods, I'm like, oh, they're so delicious. And
I know. It's really hard to go, oh, I don't want that.
Yeah.
But they do a great job of figuring out, what chemicals are going to have us coming back for more. And sugar's already addictive anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something that it's really hard to even get to know yourself when you are cluttered or you're masking things with the coffee in the morning. I used to drink a whole pot of coffee every day before 12 noon when I was in my teaching days. And I thought, well, if I was done drinking by 12 noon, no big deal.
Yeah.
And of course I never slept. I was like, why am I not sleeping? I can't sleep through the night. Why are you craving bagels and da-da-da? And it's just like, oh, it's all connected. And so when we're not actually tapping into, our cells are so cluttered, it's really hard to tap into ourselves.
Yeah.
And especially with cluttered thoughts of, is that bad? Is that good? I'm not good. I was bad today. I fell off the wagon. All those phrases, obviously negate anything that you're trying to do, especially when it comes to health and wellness.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to find out how to tap into that unless you really, and I believe this, it can kind of start really easy with food, because food is something we can manipulate and we can choose and we can control, believe it or not.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I can see how you can really use it as a positive tool. Because I know with food, a lot of stuff will come up if you are maybe stuffing your emotions with food and your food choices. So let's go ahead and go deeper into dairy and gluten and being acidic. So some people may not be familiar with some of these terms, especially like being alkaline versus acidic. So how about we dive into that?
Okay, that's great. Yeah, it is kind of a confusing thing. But basically, as humans, we want balance. And it's really hard to have balance because we're humans. We have environmental things that go on, things that we can't control, really. And that is, toxins are definitely considered in all of that. So we're constantly exposed to, even with our laptops and our iPhones and, all kinds of stuff that we do with technology. There's a lot of, we become very toxic just naturally, even with our own bodies. We have to, cleanse or detox from that so that we can reset. So going back to that balance, so that, we're humans, we obviously want balance very physically at the basic level, and that's, inside the body. And so our blood cells need to, there should be a pH level of 7.364. And I don't want to get into a whole biology lesson or anything, but you could actually test yourself with pH strips. You could get them at Whole Foods or any natural store, food store, or you can get them online. Actually, Amazon has tons of them you could pick from. It doesn't really even matter what kind you use. And you could actually see how acidic you are, because over time, if you are exposed to things that make you acidic, so number one cause, obviously, is stress. Stress is the biggest, and it's the biggest cause of inflammation.
Interesting.
So, yeah. So no matter how much kale, smoothies you drink, which are so delicious and they're very good for you, I advocate that. Or, green juice is definitely going to help. But if you're constantly busy, and I'm not even talking stress like you're so unhappy at work or something like that. It's just that constant busyness. Like every hour of your day is lined up and you have something to do. Or you're running. I know for me, it's a lot of, I got to get Jack to his baseball game, then Kate to dance class, and then I have to go pick up something from the dry cleaner, and then make dinner, and then I have to do this. And it becomes so, your body becomes so acidic over time.
Yeah, I love that you mentioned that, because I was juicing like every day, green juice and, fruit juice and whatnot, fresh juice.
Yay.
Yeah. And I was testing myself, and I was still acidic. I'm like, what the hell is going on? I'm supposed to be. But, I'm a person that I have the tendency to go, and work long hours or just be on the go a lot. And I didn't realize that I mean, it makes sense as I'm thinking about it, but not having that downtime for your body to kind of recalibrate that you are pumping like those hormones, the cortisol, or, I'm not sure what the other ones are, that the adrenaline that could, I guess, impact your acidic level.
Right. And I'm glad you brought up the cortisol because our levels just rise naturally because primitively our bodies are like very primitive thinking, oh my God, I gotta help you. You're being attacked. And little does your body really know is that, oh, you're late for, like dance class for your daughter, getting her there, or you have a deadline at work. It's very interesting, and people, it's really hard to lose weight because our bodies hold on to every ounce of fat just to protect us, thinking that we're going to be attacked, obviously. And so it's really this miscommunication that goes on inside the body, therefore letting the body kind of take over, which is very hard to do, especially with all kinds of diets out there and all kinds of books and DVDs and one thing's bad, the next thing's good. And, it's just so hard to kind of, stay on your own paper, your eyes on your own paper or stay in your own lane.
Yeah.
But that's truly something for me, I know especially has worked because, I was going down that road where I was very unhealthy. And even after, to be honest, I started I got into, it's a little step of the story there, but whenever I had my son, I ended up, with an eating disorder because I still was not able to understand what food can do for me. And I think I probably already had issues with food anyway, obviously since I was 8 years old, but, I couldn't lose the weight. And I just remember, luckily a few friends cornered me and I was exercising a lot, doing triathlon at the time and not eating. And, luckily they gave me some numbers to call for help and I did get help. But during that whole time, I was working on perfectionism. And I think as women, we have a lot of that. And that does become very acidic also.
Yeah.
Very
inflammatory. You hear that, ladies? Stop being perfect because it's keeping the fat on your body.
I know, it's terrible. And perfection kills. It's just, and I don't know if you're a Game of Thrones fan. Maybe you're not. I don't know. But there's an actress on there, and she's seriously, she's a queen mother, and she's like a great actress, and I just love her. And she was interviewed in More magazine, and they had asked, okay, what's the number one rule when striving to achieve more? What do you do? And she just put, slow the F down.
Yeah, nice.
And I love that. I have it on my thing. I'm like, okay, slow down. Because we want to achieve so much and things like that. And talking about that balance again, we want balance within nature and the seasons. So luckily, nature provides the foods that we need to keep us healthy during each time of year, which is really remarkable, especially butternut squash and pumpkins have beta-carotene in it. And they come out in fall, and fall is when you start to get sick. So the nature says, hey, there you go. And just having, that balance within each other and globally. So does that help with, I know we had to break it down with the pH level. So
that was great.
That's something you could actually test. And I definitely advise that because it's really remarkable.
Yeah.
You could see numbers changing and it turns a color to kind of let you know, oh my goodness, you're pretty balanced right now, which means that your body could work at optimal levels and keep you healthy and heal. Instead of trying to work so hard on a certain organ or a certain part of your body that's inflamed.
So can you give us some ideas of some other things that cause more acidity in our body?
Okay, so it's typically things that we probably love. So caffeine, definitely.
Is that including caffeine in like tea?
Yeah, so green tea, I wouldn't worry about as much, but there is caffeine. Caffeine is it's acidic. So when it's processed in your cells, it's just, it's very acidic, so it can lead to inflammation. But, it's nothing like if you're doing 1 to 2 cups of tea a day. It's when we go overboard or our bodies just can't handle it. Even 1 cup of coffee would throw me off. And I would sweat and I would just be crazy. But that's me because that's just my body and what goes on with my body.
Right.
And after drinking a whole pot of coffee for years, I think my body's like, okay, you your share. You're fine. You don't need any more caffeine.
Yeah.
The sodas, things like that, anything processed in a box or a bag. And I'm talking things with tons of ingredients and things that we don't even know how to pronounce, obviously.
Yeah.
But sugar's also a big, big, big part of becoming acidic.
Now, is that all
it's
sugar?
Highly addictive.
Or can we do like raw sugar or turbinado or sucanat? Like, how do those kind of play?
I mean, you can. It's just acidic, and your body doesn't really know a difference.
Gosh, boy, these darn bodies of ours.
I know, because our bodies are so lovely. I know, our bodies really love us no matter what. They'll do anything to keep us. And it doesn't mean that you can't have sugar in your life, because that would be really boring and sad.
Yeah, we just
have to make sure you get the best sugar ever.
Yeah, we just have to stop the interview right now. If you said stop the sugar,
you're like, you're out. You're not my friend anymore. But those are very acidic too. And then obviously gluten. Gluten causes a lot of issues. You don't have to have celiac disease or anything. It just, causes lots of fogginess and bloating, and it's very acidic. And then dairy. Dairy, we just don't need it as humans. We're, especially as Americans, I know that there's people all over the world listening, but Americans, we drink milk, and there are not many cultures that do that. It's just something our bodies don't really need. Yeah. It's kind of started with propaganda, after World War II, lots of, big pharma, lobbyists, things like that. So, the Got Milk campaign isn't because it's healthy.
Right.
There's more calcium in sesame seeds. So, I mean, really, that's just something that causes a lot of acidity in our body.
Now, how do you like the almond milk and the soy milk and the coconut milks? How do they fall into? I know they're not milk.
Yeah, they're not. They're actually less acidic, and they are good. Like in my recipes, I do cleanses seasonally with my community, and we do use almond milk. But either we make it with almonds, and that's raw almonds and water, or put some dates in it or something. But other than that, we pretty much eat pretty, it's actually fine. The soy is another thing that could become acidic. It's all going to depend. It's very controversial.
Yeah.
Especially with the thyroid and things like that. But,
GMO.
Any type of nut milk will be great. You could even do, if you're allergic to nuts, you could do sesame seed milk. There's so many things that you can make or buy, even at the store nowadays. It's just checking those ingredients again, because I like to put crap. They like to put some stuff in there, so you just have to look at that. But so I definitely am an advocate of that. If you want something milky, or let's say you do want to make a smoothie and you just use water, you might want to put some coconut milk or coconut water in it, to kind of make it thicker or have a little bit more taste. So I definitely advocate that. And those, alcohol obviously is acidic. And that would be the main things to kind of think about, actually inflammation.
Inflammation.
So, that's a key there. I think that's a word that we understand.
Yeah, sure.
So,
and I think that, just thinking about the inflammation we have in our bodies and how I imagine that leads to, water retention, joint pain, or just physical body pain. What other kinds of things does inflammation, what does this cause in our bodies?
So actually it leads to chronic disease like cancer, diabetes, heart disease, even high cholesterol, depression. That's a big one we might not even think about, but just tweaking something that we're eating could help a lot.
Sure.
Lack of focus, memory, things like that. So it's pretty much anything where something just doesn't feel right. It's something that your body's trying to say, hey, I want to tell you something. It's a little bit of feedback here. It's not bad or good. It's just a little bit of feedback.
That's something that you really help women and people just get back in touch with, is what is it our bodies are trying to tell us?
Right. So, I think it's really hard, like when you're cluttered, like I said, and we all are cluttered as humans because it's hard. Sometimes keeping life together with everything we have to do. But it's something that can be learned, and I'm still working on it, and it's been years. So, I've been in business almost 5 years, and I've been working on this probably 8 years, from
Sure.
8 years now. So, I mean, it's taken, like for instance, I was, leaving for Arizona. I'm on the East Coast, so I was leaving for Arizona for a photo shoot because I have a cookbook coming out in November, which is really exciting and fun.
Mm-hmm.
So my publisher's like, okay, I have to have a photo shoot. We need a cover photo. We're going to take pictures of your food, blah, blah, blah. And my first instinct was, okay, I need to get to the gym 6 days a week. And you know what? No, I'm going to exercise twice a day so that I can, you know what I mean? Like I literally thought, okay, I'm going to have Pure Barre at this time. And then maybe I'll go to the gym at this time. Oh, wait, I'm going to ride my bike on this day. In that thinking that it came back, even though I thought this way when I was like 8 years old, or like, especially in my 20s, it kind of came back. Or, oh, you better eat, let's see, you better eat like this before the, and, I started thinking and my mind started taking over, and all of a sudden it literally lasted maybe seconds. Mm-hmm. And I literally was like, all right, Lisa, calm down. You're not going to do this. You're okay the way you are. And if you want to set some goals, that's great. We can do that. But there shouldn't be any scrambling or this, you know what I mean? Like that.
The frantic
because my body started getting tense. I started to feel anxious. And it was probably not going to lead to a good experience for me. Mm-hmm. So that said, what we work on is that we actually start with the food, because the mind really wants to be in charge. Sure. That once you start with the food, your cells start to change, and then the mind kind of starts to follow along. So what I mean by that is that if you're eating really clean, healthy, real food that your body understands, even juicing, I love juicing, and with juice, you're actually getting, liquid nutrition in your cells immediately. Mm-hmm. So you feel the energy, you feel the healing, you feel lighter immediately, so that your body starts to go, oh yeah, okay, this feels good. Mm-hmm. I'm going to kind of keep this going. And once you kind of, once you start to feel that way, especially with food, you start to think about the choices. And Danielle Laporte is someone who I follow, which I'm not sure if you follow her, but she's amazing. Yeah. And she wrote, I think it was the Desire Map, and I think this was in the Desire Map, where she was talking about making choices. And it's a lot about what we do, especially as women, choosing what you're going to put into your body, mm-hmm. choosing, what you're going to bring into your home, choosing who you want to be with and hang out with. Right. Making these choices. And so it's very empowering, and it's, the biggest act of self-love I think out there is like when you choose the food as fuel and as love. And really, I think it is love, because once you start to change, your demeanor changes. You might have more empathy. You might be more calm. You might even show more love. Who knows? That trickles down to your family or your friends or other people who know you. And then that trickles down to, more and more people. So it's kind of a global thing. Mm-hmm. And I think it's pretty awesome. Yeah.
I find that when I'm doing juicing, pretty regularly, that I find that, like you said, you feel lighter. I wake up in the morning, earlier than usual. I spring mm-hmm. out of bed. I don't have that fogginess.
Right. Exactly. I mean, it's kind of crazy. I mean, maybe the first couple of days might not be, your body might adjust and say, all right, I got to get rid of toxins, or I got to really, kind of cleanse here. But you start to feel so light, and then you're like, I don't think I want to go back to the way it was. Mm-hmm. That just doesn't feel good.
Yeah. So initially, like you just touched on with a detox program, I know you have a 10-day detox, your renewal anytime. Mm-hmm. And so what can people expect to experience maybe in those first couple days when they're going through a detox?
So, my detoxes are, this isn't a juice cleanse per se, but it's just a whole foods cleanse, like a real food eating real foods. So it's interesting. If you are able to wean off caffeine and sugar, especially before the cleanse, you don't have a rough 2 to 3 days, but usually days 1 through about 3, suck.
Yeah. Believe
it or not. Well, I guess you could believe it, but,
yeah.
Cause detox sometimes gets a bad rep, but when your body, is used to doing things maybe for months before you got there to detox or years before you got there, there's going to be a lot of adjustment going on. So you might end up with headaches. You might feel maybe nauseous, especially if you're not eating every 3 hours. Mm-hmm. You might be really tired for the first few days. Or you might want to kill me or someone around you. Like, why did you, this is horrible. And that's not like that for everyone. I've cleansed with thousands and thousands of people. And there are some people that it's not even a change ever at all. So it's all different. But most of us, even me as a health coach, I have a few rough days at the beginning. Mm-hmm. And then by day 4, you start to go, okay, the novelty's wearing off. But I'm starting to feel good. Mm-hmm. I think I'm going to try this. I'm going to keep going. And then by like day 7 and 8, you feel pretty awesome. And I usually do 10 days so that you get that extra boost at the end so that you form some habits. Even though it takes about 66 days to form a habit, they're saying now, that's kind of like brushing your teeth, like a ritual. Mm-hmm. But at least your body, your cells start to change and start to feel very clean and clear. And you might start to see things. A lot of people get kind of emotional, which is actually good because they start to go, I did not know that was happening.
Yeah. Well, not only are you...
I really don't know why I'm doing this at work. Why am I doing that?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So it's really eye-opening. It's actually fun too. Yeah. So, detox can be fun.
Well, yeah, and like you say, it's first it sounds like your body goes through the detox, and then you initially feel those first physical symptoms, and then right behind that you have more of the emotional cleansing, where you have maybe those old feelings that you've maybe repressed over the years. Anger, sadness, fear, anxiety.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's different each season. Like for spring, the liver, according to traditional Chinese medicine, rules the springtime. So obviously a liver is the master metabolite. It's awesome for detoxing. But if you're not balanced, it does have that weepiness or that, it's kind of interesting. Or like the kidneys deal a lot with anger, and kidneys rule the winter months. So it's interesting. And so you kind of eat foods that support that. And it's so funny because nature just goes, oh, here you go. And you're like, oh, well, that's cool. So, I have foods that support me and they're growing.
Yeah. Give us like some like examples of like how the liver, like in that particular time of year, you said spring, right?
Yes. So it's spring. The liver is that, the organ that traditional Chinese medicine practitioners really focus on. Mm-hmm. And so the liver, you can eat tons of like dandelion greens. Lots of greens really support the liver. Beets support the liver. So it's really interesting that there are some things very abundant, especially, seasonally, that can help us. And so when you're kind of out of balance during this time of year, you might not want to play, or you might not want to go outside, where if you are kind of getting imbalanced, you're motivated, you're ready to move, you're ready to set some plans so that you can carry them out throughout summer up until fall, because summer's playtime. And this is, it's such a great time to make plans, believe it or not. Yeah. It's not necessarily New Year's Day, but it's actually this time of year. And then the fall is even better, a great time to kind of reset.
And so the fall is when you said the kidneys are associated, or that's winter?
It's winter, yeah. And so fall is it's the lungs, which is kind of interesting because you're like, oh, I need to really get my lungs in shape here because the winter season's coming and that's the cold and flu season. So I need to protect that.
That's cool.
And so, I know, it's really cool. It's really fun.
And I love how, like you said, the abundance of whatever is present in like produce and foods support that process. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really fun. When I design the menus, I go in my kitchen and I cook, and I'm Italian, which now I cook, which my family's so happy about because yeah, you finally came around.
Yeah,
And
you're the unusual Italian, right? Not cooking.
Right. And so I always season things, try different recipes so that I put them in my cleanses. And, I really look at what's abundant right now. Oh, asparagus. That's okay. We're going to definitely have asparagus soup. And, I'm going to put this type of herb in it because that's really, that helps with the liver. And it's really fun to kind of use your food. Mm-hmm. Like I said, pretty much as a tool instead of an enemy.
Yeah. Yeah. Just being curious about it and saying, how can this support my body to be better? And yeah, it's not so much about weight. It's just about nurturing yourself so you can be have the best body possible.
Yes. Yes.
So 2 of the things that I know for myself when I'm juicing or detoxing, that I struggle with, and I imagine I'm not the only one.
And no, because we all do that.
Yeah, hopefully you can help give some suggestions and tips here. The first thing is I know that I don't drink enough juice. Like I'll juice in the morning, and then it's like I don't juice enough, and I'm not drinking enough of my fresh juice if I'm just doing like a juice detox. So how much are we supposed to be like drinking or ingesting of juice in like a given day? I know it varies, but can you give us like a range?
Yeah. So mainly it's staying hydrated, and water obviously is, I know it's boring, but drinking half your body weight in ounces in water, at least. This is kind of like a guideline. Drinking lots of water, flushing out your system because it resets your, actually water with lemon, obviously, resets your metabolism, boosts it, kind of gets, we're pretty acidic in the morning just because our system detoxes naturally throughout the night. So it's nice to have water with lemon immediately upon waking. And so when you're flushing out with water, with the juices, it's a little bit different because you're eating food, you're just drinking. You're not chewing, but you're drinking your food. So I make like a beauty remedy, which is my favorite. I do advise 1 juice a day. That's totally fine, and it's a great start. And I do a beauty remedy, which I really highly recommend because your cells just sing with joy. I swear to God, after you drink it. But it's got cucumber, kale, apple, lime, because lime is very good, and ginger. And ginger is great for inflammation.
And does it have?
So that's what I do. I do that every day, and it's a big seller. Everyone just loves it. Even my husband, who never ate fruits or vegetables ever, will now make juices all the time because, instead of having that texture by chewing the vegetables, he just drinks them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he's like, even last night, he was like, I'm making a juice. I just feel so dirty. I just don't clean. I just doing lots of crap at work. And I'm like, okay. And it took like a year or so to get like that, but so it's definitely doable to do 1 juice a day. I think that would be a great start.
Okay, yeah. And then, but if we're doing like just juicing, like say we're doing a juicing detox, then I know we're supposed to drink lots of water.
Yes.
But how much juice?
So you can do 6 juices, sometimes 4. I know we do 4 because we do 16 ounces. So we're eating a lot. Okay. Like I said, that beauty remedy has 1 cucumber, almost 2 cucumbers sometimes. Depends on how big they are.
Yeah.
An apple, that's a lot of food. And you cannot sit down and eat all of that because of our digestive system just can't allow that. So with juicing, you bypass the digestive system, which is okay. We're giving our cells a break and our organs a break. And you're getting liquid nutrition immediately to your cells. So that's why you feel energy and you feel that lightness immediately. And so, and it's okay. It's okay to juice because you obviously aren't getting fiber, but you're getting it with your beans and your nuts and your seeds and all of your salads that you're eating and anything else that you're eating with fiber in it. Juice is just a different nutritional goal. Yeah. It's actually, it's very healing, and it really lessens acidity. So
yeah.
it's something definitely to add in. But you do drink a lot of water, lots and lots, about 4 to 6 juices a day. You can add in coconut water if you're exercising.
Mm-hmm.
And you might want to add like a good fat, like an almond milk at night.
Mm.
You know, like a good one that you made, or you find like a good brand that only has almonds in it and water and, you know, very, very clean.
Huh. So do you take the juice itself and then typically add water to it, or do you just drink it straight?
I do not add water to my juices. You just drink it. Yeah. You get lots and it's a big liquid. You get lots of liquid, especially if you have cucumbers. And if you're a new juicer person, new to juicing, you might just want to juice cucumbers and put mint with it. And that is clean, clear, easy, tastes pretty good. You know, add an apple or something sweet.
Yeah. And
that could be your first juice, and try that. And then kind of build from there. But there's lots of liquid, so you don't have to add water.
Yeah, I've been loving juicing pineapple lately.
Oh, yeah. Yes, pineapple is good. It is so good. Just try to have, like, you know, put some kale with it or something. Or it's always nice to have 3 to 1, like 3 vegetables to 1 fruit, if you can.
Awesome.
Yeah, but pineapple's good. It's awesome.
Yeah, and I love the beets. I love beets. So much fun to have, like, that really amazing color, that red color. Oh,
it's beautiful. I know. It is so beautiful.
Yeah. And for people that feel like juicing is, it feels overwhelming, you know, one of the things I find is I just prepare a whole bunch of fruits and vegetables and just stick it in like a Tupperware container in the refrigerator, because, you know, that just helps it. It's like you can make a juice in like 5 minutes or less, and even, you know, clean your machine and everything. So I know that, you know, that's one of the reasons why sometimes I don't juice later in the day, is because I'm busy working and I just don't want to bother with it. But when you make it super easy, then it, you know, having that convenience makes it more approachable, I think.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So the other struggle I have is that living with people that aren't necessarily doing the same kind of food planning or juicing, and, you know, they're eating maybe the really delicious smelling Doritos or, you know, something.
Right. I hear ya. I know. That's the story of my life, or like at least the past 8 years.
Well, and especially moms with children. I mean, it's
so hard.
Yeah, it's hard with children because you have to think about, and husbands, because you have to think about, you know, everybody doesn't necessarily want to eat just what you're eating, the green juice and whatnot.
But you're eating lots of other fun, yummy foods, and so it's really a struggle. To be honest, that's a big struggle for a lot of us, and you know, you have to. I guess if you're cooking, like, I know I'm kind of mean, but it did work. If I was cooking, because luckily my husband helps me, and so first of all, asking for help is big. So if you are going to make your stuff, and you know, I usually say, well, this is all that's there. You know, you're going to buy it, or you're going to eat it. You know, and that didn't go well at first, but after a couple weeks, my kids are like, yeah, that's okay. This is all we got.
It's not the cafeteria.
And then they're like, oh my God, this is good. You know, like my son's now with smoothies. He has to have a smoothie for breakfast. I'm like, really? Okay. I mean, with kale in it even. He goes, Mom, you got to put the kale in. I'm like, okay. But it took months for this, even almost a year for this to even happen. And so giving up, I think that's a big problem, because, you know, it kind of lends to the fact of, I guess it's just those choices again. And, you know, we care about our families, and, you know, we care about our loved ones. And so really it's that choice.
Yeah.
And I know it sounds mean. It sounds so mean, but, you know, usually, you know, you could make 2 different types of meals if you feel like it. Or, you know, you kind of adjust. Like, I have tacos, but, you know, my tacos will have avocado and vegetables and all kinds of different stuff in them, with like a corn tortilla shell or something that's, you know, gluten-free. And my husband would do something maybe with chicken.
Yeah, sure.
But, you know, he would help me make that.
Yeah.
Or you can even do it yourself and kind of have two different things there. But they're both all tacos.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, you eat your cleaner version.
Sure.
Because it just feels good to me, and I just want to eat that. And then the kids kind of come over and go, oh, I'm going to try that. So I know, I wish I had, it's a little bit hardcore advice on that one.
No, I love it.
It's really like, well, sorry, that's all you're getting.
No, I think it's
complain,
great.
They complain.
It's great.
And it's hard. I hate when they complain because all I want to do is make them happy.
Yeah, but you know the thing is you're giving mothers permission to not be like the cafeteria lady who has to offer different options, right?
Yeah, I kind of started getting really resentful, and then I started not planning my meals after that, and then it just went downhill. I was like, this is just crazy, crazy pants, because it was just everywhere.
Yeah.
Because I just started getting like, I can't cook all of this.
Yeah.
And handle all these complaints. And asking for help is big. I know a lot of women, a lot of my clients even still say, oh, I got to cook this, I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to do. I'm like, ask for help, whether your sister, your mom, a friend, your partner, even ask your kids. Now I ask my kids, to make their lunches at night, and they actually make their own breakfast now, but they're older. Mm-hmm. They're like 10 and 11. But, I think 10 years ago, I probably wouldn't have. I'm like, I have to handle it all.
Yeah.
I'm the mom, or I need to do it. Mm-hmm. And once you start asking for help, it actually makes the other person feel really good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you're able to take care of your needs, and then you're able to actually even be a better mom, friend, daughter, things like that.
Definitely. And you create that sense of community and family unity that you're doing things together. So I think there's a lot of benefits to it.
Yeah, it's actually, I know, I wish I had sweeter advice, nicer advice for you, but it's like, no.
But that's not.
And I had to learn the hard way because I was,
That's right. That's what you get to do as the expert. You give that good, tough love advice.
I know. Oh, gosh.
So I'm wondering, what is a great practical tip for those listeners who would like to start getting more clear, gain that clarity, and develop a more of a self-loving relationship with their food?
That's okay. There's a lot to do. I guess it's twofold. So the first one is the basic one, which is that water thing, which is so boring. I know, it's so boring. But I swear, water is like a miracle. Like, it's a miracle worker, because once you start to really start pumping your body with water, first of all, a lot of the times we have this hunger feeling, or we have these cravings, and it's really not that at all. It's just that you're dehydrated. Mm-hmm. So that's the biggest thing. That's just one tip. Seriously, the water with lemon in the morning. I tell you, everyone that detoxes with me or even knows me, in fact, someone today, one of my clients just posted on Facebook that she started a lemon tree. She's growing as like a little sprout.
Oh.
She has her lemons every morning with water.
Yeah.
Because that's an easy habit. That's an easy tip. Mm-hmm. It's easy. We just reach for our water with lemon immediately upon waking. Easy.
Yeah.
And it really, to be honest, it's the first thing, like our system, and our cells start to balance out with that. And you it sets you just up for the day. Like, okay, well then, next I'm going to go and I'm going to work out. Mm-hmm, or, you know what? I'm going to start my breakfast and make that juice or that green smoothie.
I just want to take a quick pause to remind people, if they don't already know, that water, because of the inflammation, it helps the cells, right? Because we're primarily composed of water, and it helps slow the aging process.
It really, let me tell you, it really does. Now that I'm in my 40s, I'm like, okay.
So
really, drinking water and sleep, obviously.
Yeah. If there's any other reason than to, decrease the lines, fine lines, wrinkles, or, the dry skin, any of those things, just to be looking healthier and younger, drink your water.
Exactly. The water is that basic thing. It's a tool, like something like we were talking about with the food. But it is going back to that choice, really. It's like it's self-love, obviously, but it's also self-respect.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what really got me. I went, hell yeah, I'm going to try to respect myself. Sure. It's because whatever you choose, you can ask yourself, is this respectful for me and my body? Is this really good for me? And having, kind of even just the basic thought, because it's going to take a while. I wish I had a quick fix for everyone, but it's just not going to work like that. I mean, unfortunately, to really, really, really change things that have happened for years and years, for a long time. But having that mindset, even if it is drinking that water with lemon, just, okay, that's my choice. Yeah. I'm going to choose that for me. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to choose how I spend my day. I'm going to create my time during this day. Yeah. I could create it being stressed out, running around, saying yes to everybody, or I'm going to choose who I'm going to say yes to, if that feels easy to me. Mm-hmm. And so that's what I mean by twofold. It's just having the mindset, because the mind's going to take over no matter what. So we have to, and the mind's beautiful too. The mind does great things for us. So we just have to kind of address the mind and go, okay, what's my choice? Yeah. And you might choose, hey, I'm going to have that chocolate cake for dinner. But you might go, well, it is my birthday. Oh, it's a celebration. And you know what? I got my partner got the best cake from the bakery. That's, my favorite. It's vegan, gluten-free with, whatever it is. Yep. You know what I mean? Like you can choose. And I think that's actually, it's a big thing. Yeah. It's a big thing.
Well, and what I really took from this is, when you said like the number one thing, being overly acidic is the, being on the go all the time. And I think my biggest takeaway is that, just to slow down, take more time for myself, and, create space in my own life to do that and make that choice. Mm-hmm. Because gosh, I mean, just with the cortisol and the acidity and inflammation, I think that if I just integrated that, I would naturally and easily lose weight. And how amazing would that be?
I know, exactly. I mean, it is kind of interesting. Yeah. When what we focus on expands. Mm-hmm. So when we kind of we surrender and let go. And we focus on like that water with lemon. That's going to make me feel good. Or everything that you just said, which is amazing that, I really think especially as women, it's actually now time for us, for us to make our choices for us and what makes us feel good. Yep.
Definitely. Definitely. Well, awesome, Lisa. So how can people find out more about you and connect with you and all that good stuff?
Well, I have my website, which is wholehealthdesigns.com. I'm usually on Instagram. So I love Instagram. So Whole Health Designs there, obviously.
I'm sure you're posting lots of beautiful pictures of food and smoothies and
green teas. I know. I don't want to be such a nerd, but I do. Because I like that. It makes me happy. But, or I'm always making something. I'm like, oh, wait, I got to show everyone. They might want to make this. Yeah. And, I am on Facebook too. So that's Whole Health Designs on Facebook too. Awesome. So those are my 3 places that I hang out.
Very cool. And you have your current book. That's the 10-day. Tell us what that is.
Right. That's my ebook. And I actually have, I do seasonal live cleanses. So the ebook is a renewal cleanse. It's 10 days. And you could do it anytime. So the recipes are pretty basic, meaning that you could do it during spring or fall or winter, summer, wherever. Mm-hmm. And it's pretty much if you need like a quick pick-me-up, you have a wedding to go to, or you have some big event, or you just went on vacation and you overdid it, and you're like, I got to get back to my life here. I need to cleanse out everything that I did, in the Bahamas or wherever. So it's pretty much that type of cleanse. And I also run seasonal live cleanses where I develop a new menu each season, and we have hundreds of women. We join in and we do it together. And, usually in July we do a raw renewal cleanse, which is really fun too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
You guys got to jump on board. And sounds like
it's
a lot
actually
of fun.
fun because you don't have to cook and it's hot. You just don't have to cook.
Nice.
You just, stir some, mix things up and eat it during the summertime, which is great.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I will put links to all of that on your show page so everyone can just conveniently connect with you. And so thank you so much for joining me today. This was like an absolutely really fascinating conversation.
Well, I had fun talking with you, and I could talk about this for days. So,
days and days.
So it just was so much fun. Thank you.
Cool. And now I'd love to hear from you guys. The most awesome discussions happen after the show over at theawakenedgoddess.com. So get yourself over there and leave a comment right now. Did you enjoy this episode? If so, subscribe to the show. And of course, it would be absolutely amazing if you shared this with all of your friends. And if you want even more incredible resources, join Spark Spiritual Academy to get this month's health and wellness collection of bonus content. And until next time, goodbye, everyone. Thank you for listening to this episode of The Awakened Goddess. I hope you enjoyed today's show and took away something you can start using in your life right away. For more spiritual insights and to listen to more episodes, subscribe to The Awakened Goddess Show at thegoddessnextdoor.com and discover wisdom that'll change your life.